Alright, what's up, y'all? So we've officially made it to the NBA Finals. So I asked you guys on Twitter to hit me with your hottest takes about Spurs Knicks. And you guys brought the heat, so let's react to the best ones. From Jacob Rose 21, Spurs in 6, Fox wins Finals MVP. Spurs in 6 isn't really much of a hot take. De'Aaron Fox winning Finals MVP would be, though. Especially because he's been the Spurs' third best guard in the playoffs so far. And that's no slight to D. Fox. I mean, I actually thought he was huge in Game 7 against the Thunder. He had 15 points. He had a bunch of big shots. I guess it could be like a 2007 when Tony Parker won Finals MVP over Duncan. I don't know, man. From Moiz Ahmed, sorry if I butchered your name. Stephon Castle is going to put Jalen Brunson in jail so fast that the Knicks won't even score 90 in a game this series. Sheesh. That's a hot take if I've ever seen one. I mean, how many times have the Knicks... I'm going to look this up. How many times did the Knicks not score 90 this entire season? Okay, there was a January 5th game against the Pistons where they scored 90 on the dot. They scored 80 against the Pistons in a game in February. Maybe the Knicks are lucky they didn't have to play the Pistons. What are we saying here? From Cream Puff, Jeremy Sohan will have a revenge game, not like a 40 ball, but there will be a game where he's a huge contributor for the Knicks. No. Just no, dude. Sohan... Dude, I think there's a better chance Jeremy Sohan accidentally goes and joins the Spurs huddle than he drops like double-digit scoring in a game. From Ryan, Devin Vassell will get 2 triple-doubles in this series. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I don't know. I don't think he's ever had a triple-double in his life. The Knicks' 11-game win streak is a fluke. The Spurs beat the actual best team in the league in OKC, so Spurs in 4. Here's the thing. This is the one thing I'll say about the Knicks. And it's not even really a Knicks take. It's just winning 11 straight games in the playoffs isn't a fluke no matter who it's against. Like, you can sit here and tell me that the Hawks weren't that good and that the Sixers, were overrated and Embiid missed a couple games in that series and that the Cavs were a joke. Like, it's still hard to win 11 straight playoff games, especially by the scoring margin that the Knicks did it at, which was an NBA record. Like, a blowout's a blowout. A sweep's a sweep. You just can't call it a fluke, okay? You can say they're not going to beat the Spurs. You can say that obviously they didn't have to go through OKC, and obviously they wouldn't have swept OKC. You could even play it the other way where you could say the Spurs would have also won 11 straight games, but then at least they're on the same level. I'm just sick and tired of people discrediting 11 straight playoff wins. That's nuts. Most teams don't even win 11 straight games in the regular season. From Killa, Jalen Brunson replaces the Statue of Liberty if the Knicks win it all. Honestly, sign me up. Well, where's the petition that I can sign to make that happen? Especially because the Statue of Liberty was a gift from the country of France. And if Jalen Brunson beats the French icon, the French protege, Victor Wembanyama, yeah, get that French gift out of here. Give me a Jalen Brunson statue in New York City. Why not? Respectfully. From Aksoy fan 17634, Julian Champagnie is the biggest swing factor in the finals. He plays like their second best player some nights. I don't know about that. And they typically win the games when he goes off. If he doesn't play well, I like the Knicks a lot more in this series. I mean, that's just a take about three-point shooting. Yeah, typically when one team has a guy like Champagnie who can get hot and hit 5, 6, 7 threes, usually that team is then going to win that game. So maybe the take you're really going for is like whichever team's role players shoot better from 3 is going to win. And in that case, I absolutely believe you, and I don't think that's a hot take. Like, here's another version of this. From Vose281, the whole finals is in Josh Hart's hands because Wemby will probably guard Hart. True, I agree with that. And if Hart can shoot 37% from 3 on decent volume, the Knicks win this series. Yeah, I can't really argue with that. Because if Hart is hitting threes, then you're right. They're going to have to put a guard on Hart, and then Hart has the ability to take that guard to the rim, and then Wemby is guarding Cat, and Cat can space Wemby out so that Wemby is not guarding the rim. You're right. In a lot of ways, Josh Hart is the key to the finals, which is kind of crazy until you think about it. From Bert77, whose handle is Mavs and Heat fan. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know what you were doing in 2006 or 2011. But if Mitchell Robinson stays healthy and Cat keeps balling, I can see the Knicks sweeping the Spurs. No, you can't. Stop, dude. There's a difference between a hot take and a dumb take. I've said this before. If you wanted to say like Knicks in 5, okay. Knicks sweeping the Spurs? Like, what are we doing here? Little water bottle. Brunson has an Iverson-type performance, but the Knicks lose in 5. That would be very 0-1 Iverson-esque, so I'm here for it. From Kabir Chawla, Brunson will drop his first 40-point game this playoffs in a game where Castle is close to or fouls out. Man, it is kind of crazy that I guess Brunson hasn't had a 40-piece yet. Again, this is what happens when you're blowing teams out. You don't need to drop 40. From Trick, Knicks in 6. Spurs go up 2-1, and then the Knicks win the rest, which would mean a Game 6 victory at home. Yeah. Brunson has a 30-point game in games 4, 5, and 6. Man, if Brunson... I've talked about this before, but if Brunson somehow is like legendary playoff riser Jalen Brunson status in this finals and averages 30 and wins the championship, he is going to be the most popular player in the NBA. Jalen Brunson, second-round pick, cast off from the Dallas Mavericks, Nico Harrison reject, Jalen Brunson. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it would be fun to watch. From Maximo Adams, this series will be a top 5 finals of all time. Big market versus small market. Generational talent versus playoff rising small guard. 2 great fan bases and the 2 best teams from this playoffs. I'm not sure that last sentence is correct. I still think the Thunder are arguably the second best team in the NBA, especially if they were fully healthy. For Mega, Cat is a huge X factor. If he can play like he did against Atlanta and Philly, I can actually see New York winning. Same with Mitch. Totally agree. The Cat is always the X factor for the Knicks. Cat is so talented. At one point, GMs were talking about Cat like we are talking about Wemby now. You go back to those GM surveys from like 2016, 2017, GMs were voting Cat as the number 1 player in the entire NBA they'd want to build an NBA team around. All right, let's get a few more in. Let's go rapid fire. Spurs will win in 5 because Cat will be in foul trouble the whole series, and Wemby, who has the greatest series of his career. Very possible. Very possible. MVP Chicken, love the username. Fox averages 20, Spurs win in 6. I feel like Fox is going to average more like 15, but it kind of depends, like, who do they have ISOing on Jalen Brunson? And how much of that do they do, right? Or do they go with a Deuce McBride off the bench on Fox? Or do they put Josh Hart on Stephon Castle? I don't really know what the matchups are going to look like yet. But someone is going to be able to torch Brunson. At least that's the goal if you're the Spurs. The fun factor, Cat has more points and rebounds than Wemby in this series. Whoa. That's a hot take that I actually respect the creativity of. The Knicks don't even need Cat to average more points and rebounds than Wemby for the whole series. They just need Cat to get more points and rebounds than Wemby in 4 of the 7 games. From Raekwon, Jalen Brunson's a top 5 point guard of all time if the Knicks win the title. Also, just now. He's a top 75 player of all time, but top 5 point guard, brother, that's crazy. We're talking about like Oscar Robertson. We're talking about Isaiah Thomas. We're talking about Magic and Steph and Jerry West and Chris Paul. No, I love Jalen Brunson, but like he would need probably 2 championships and like an MVP to be top 5 point guard ever. Like Shea's not a top 5 point guard ever. And Shea has the title and has 2 more MVPs than Brunson. Average Pittsburgh enjoyer. If Wemby wins Finals MVP, he's already on the Mount Rushmore for the 2020s, along with Jokic, Shea, and Giannis. Yeah, unless you want to put Tatum there, because Tatum has the extra Finals appearance. Unless you want to put Luka there. Luka wouldn't have a title, but Luka's objectively been better in the 2020s just based on, volume and longevity alone. I think you're probably right though, man. Not gonna lie. From Quan G's, Wemby drops 46, 18, and 5 in Game 6, and the Spurs close it out in MSG. That would be some true villain stuff right there. That'd be pretty sick. That'd be very Giannis-esque in the 2021 finals. And then last one from Carl. Brunson hits a game-winning shot in Game 6 at MSG for the Knicks to win the championship, and Mike Breen calls the first ever triple bang. Oh, baby. I think that's what I would want to see. Talk about absolute cinema.